Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Scarred Thumb Podcast. Today, we'll be talking about a lot of different things. Stellar Blade, a new site that rates toxicity. Is Helldivers 2 woke? And some cool mods and other various news. It's going to be fun. So let's get right into it. I believe it was last week, or not too long ago, the Stellar Blade demo finally dropped. It was actually accidentally released a few weeks prior, but now it came to its official release after it quickly stopped that. Did an update to make sure people couldn't play it again. But now fully out, and people seem to really be enjoying the animations on this. Really enjoying certain parts of it. I won't tell you which ones, but people on Twitter really, really like it for some reason. I haven't I haven't seen too much of the gameplay. It's more of stuff like this, the physics engine tests, but so far looking like it's going to be a lot of fun. People that have played it have really enjoyed it. So it seems to have more to it than just what's being shown. Just the good graphics. This is from Niche Gamer. Stellar Blade is one of microtransactions or hidden fees, a common practice nowadays, as modern games as a piecemeal content as DLC. So this is from an interview Stellar Blade held. It's confirming not only the game's being sold as a $70 game, which is sort of standard AAA pricing nowadays. If we actually miss something or lack something, we'll fix it after launch, says Shift Up CEO. We don't want people to come in later to experience any inconvenience, so we'll do balance patches to make it more enjoyable for those who start early. We're not sure if they'll be releasing DLC, but we will be working on free updates like additional outfits. People definitely like the outfits on Stellar Blade. I want to make it clear that Stellar Blade will not require gamers to spend money or any additional money beyond what they paid for the package. Only exception if there is some collaborative costumes with third-party IPs. Those may be sold for a fee. I guess maybe some licensing stuff. But the launch version, there is also no new Game Plus, which is kind of disappointing, but in the launch version, but it will be coming very soon. And then Brandon here's taking a dig at Dragon Dogma 2, which launched alongside a bunch of optional DLC and some consider microtransactions. Of course, Capcom never shy about the DLC and the microtransactions. They seem to really enjoy it and all their releases. And then Stellar Blade is set to launch on the PS5 April 26th. Of course, with this being a sort of a beacon for cultural commentary, some people aren't liking it. We got this gentleman named David Jaff. The demo's great. Very excited for the final. Tachi is hotter than Eve. Jesus, how hard are you people? I'm 52, and the T levels ain't what it used to be. But there's free porn all over the internet. And if that's not enough, there's actual women out there. Whoa. Actual women, yeah. And you're right. Your T levels aren't what it used to be. Note, I love the overtop sexual. He loves it. He loves the overtop sexuality of Stellar Blade. It's fun and fantastic. But to hear people going on about it, you'd think they'd been at sea for Europe back before women could join the Navy. Was that ever a thing? And they finally came ashore for some R&R. Wow. So, man, I love it. This is another, tack that these leftists like to take. Oh, I love the sexuality, but, man, people are being real weird about it. Of course, he then goes on to say, I love how the game's supposed to be for real men who love hot chicks and hate wokeness. Rewards and procure with lots of clothes and accessories to play dress. Oh, wow, they're dressing up girls. It's like a doll, guys. Wow, how lame are these people? This is supposed to be a game for real men. David Jaff, of course, real men. The thing about David Jaff, people were quickly to point out, he was one of the game designers directors for God of War, who made scenes like this. This got a poor resolution, but it is a I think there was a PS2 game where Kratos is having sex with two women. So another one of these guys that made a bunch of money, made his bones with with scenes like this, over the top sexuality, which he apparently likes. But now he wants to criticize gamers for their choice of game and how far they're going too far. We like this and all, but there's got to be a reasonableness to it here. And of course, David Jaff too on Easter. Happy Trans Day of Visibility. My trans son is one of the coolest, baddest ass motherfuckers I know. Funny, strong, and smart. Kind as well as hell too. I'm so proud of my trans son. Yes, trans rights forever. Pathetic. It's pathetic that I didn't even need to say it. A true dyed in the wool leftist here. I love my trans son. Yes, he knows what a real man is, and it's his trans son. That's what real men are. David Jaff, directed God of War. That's not all for weak men. We've got Alyssa Mercante back talking about it. Oh, this is Khalif Adams.
Of conservative gaming, the bastion.
Oh, it's a bastion of conservative gaming.
Keeping the wokes mad is Stellar Blade right now.
Stellar Blade right now
is the game of the year.
Game of the year. And look at this guy, fat, round. He's got the pink headphones on. Just so you know, he's not. How's it going, Jack? He's not, ladies. He's not like the other guys. He's one of the good ones. That ESG money as his thing here. That ESG money, yeah, he's getting all that ESG money.
Because there's a shiny titty and a almost a schmedium ass.
A schmedium ass.
A great ass.
It's not even a great ass, guys. It's schmedium. Schmedium. Yes. That ass is pretty gigantic. You see, when women have a healthy BMI, their ass isn't gigantic. I mean, this is gigantic, honestly, for her waist, for what it is. Medium. This isn't that big. I guess when you're the size of Khalif Adams, those things like this might seem a little small.
Ass. It's not even that big.
It is a medium ass.
Yeah. See, the man that's never ordered a medium meal in his life. It's always extra large. That's how he prefers it. But Khalif Adams, Alyssa Mercante, of course, need to comment in on Stellar Blade. I don't understand how Stellar Blade became. It's the conservative. This is apparently conservative, guys. I don't quite get it. How this has become the anti-woke game of the year. Yeah, but it looks pretty nice. Schmedium. What the? Are black people all right? I think they might have gotten some really skewed views on what is big or not based on the sort of collective BMI of the women in the black community. It might have started affecting their brains, I think. But let's move on from Stellar Blade again. Well, let's actually watch this again. This looks good, looking really nice. 25th, coming out soon. We'll see. I think it's actually going to do really well based on pre-sales. It's going to crush records. Hopefully the gameplay is good too. We'll see, but we'll move on. This is Melanin Gamers, another brother who's doing some work in the gaming sphere. Melanin Gamers, as you might notice from the title, really leaning into the, hey, we're black. And they do D&I consultancy events, content, scene, and glamour metro, so there's always this group of sort of race grifters that, they realize, I mean, much like even on the right, you see certain black voices. You're wondering, like, is this guy really the best they got? But, They want to have someone that looks like that in their corner. And who's to say that these only had been successful for their race? But they released this along with Help Keep Watch, which is just something that another thing that an initiative by them. So they're just linking to themselves here. But they released a new rating system, the toxicity rating. Guys, it's like ESRB, but for toxicity. And hey, RC, how's it going? RC, I feel like you had a different name at some point, based on that on that profile pic, but I can't remember now. It's freaking me out. It's weirding me out. But guys, this is the toxicity rating, okay? So this is, let's see, each rating was created by surveying hundreds of gamers and represents the average amount of racism, gender discrimination, and violence towards other. I also like this, crude humor and controlled substance conversation experience. Crude humor and controlled substance conversations? Like, what the heck? This is part of the toxicity? Guys, look out. Someone's going to talk about weed. Someone's going to talk about crack. In my video game let's go with our mission was created to inform gamers and parents what kind of content they could expect to encounter while playing online. Someone might talk about crack, cocaine, or meth. I'm so cracked, guys. Oh my God. Look out. A call to attention to the fact that the gaming community desperately needs change to be an inclusive, safe space for all who crude humor. Oh no, look out, guys. We need to get rid of crude humor and talking about drugs to make this inclusive, safe space. I don't even get it. It covers so much is one of the things I understand it. But really, when you go to the ratings, you can kind of see people have been saying that the biggest problem with this is that anybody can rate it. They don't actually need to prove that they've played the game at all. And, they're saying that would lead to potentially people just, just like review bombing it. But really, when you look at these ratings, this is a Call of Duty toxicity rating of 78. Oh my God, that seems so big. And it's got to be like a little hexagonal chart. Violence, direct violent threats. 90 direct violent threats. When's the last time you've been online and someone gave you a direct violent threat? I'm going to kill you in real life, guys. When's the last time that actually happened? I don't think it's ever been. I don't think it's ever happened. IRL threats of violence. At least any that are serious. So this is the real problem with this site. It says 78 of respondents reporting experiencing toxicity playing Call of Duty online. So this 78% rating is based on the amount of people that have filled out a survey gone to the site and fill out a survey for Call of Duty. It's like even like crappy leftist surveys like the ADL will at least sort of pretend that they got a random, or they even say like it's a super sample of, LGBTQ or other races, but at least they'll like pretend that they're calling a sort of like normal sample of gamers, like sort of randomly picked. This is strictly based on the people that actually go to a site called the toxicityrating.com and want to fill out a survey. So it's naturally only going to be people that want to report toxicity. It's not like, hey, I love Call of Duty. I need to go to this site and tell you how not toxic it is. This leaves such a completely unrealistic and skewed rating for this stuff that it doesn't do any good at all. There's literally the only purpose for this site is for them to try and say that gaming is bad and gaming's toxic. And then, I don't know, maybe they do sort of D&I consultancy work. So maybe they need to sort of come in. say, hey guys, your game's super toxic. We got to do something about it. Bring us in, hire us, and we're going to help you figure out how to deal with it. This is the only way I can see this actually doing, well, we're not going to do any good, but how this actually is supposed to accomplish anything. Not to mention like sexual content, crude humor, controlled substance concentrates. And then like you have racism, gender discrimination, and direct violent 90% direct violent threats. This is such crappy information. What is this supposed to do? This is all I can think of. It's just here's a problem and then present the solution. Or it's again just trying to push a sort of narrative that gaming is toxic. Which, I mean, when you get into competitive gaming with a lot of high emotions, it can get you can have, a lot of conversations that are very heated, a lot of anger and frustration, and which can lead to, insults and all sorts of different things. And we all know Call of Duty and stuff like this, but even they have Minecraft has a rating of 62. Again, direct threats of violence, 78. This is strictly based on what people come into report. There's just a reporting system. The percentages don't work at all. Like maybe if you were to like list the amount of people that have actually filed reports, that might mean something, but this is just strictly so dishonest and designed to give a picture that is totally devoid of reality. So this is Melanin Gamers doing terrible work. This site is just complete trash, as I listed it. But let's move on from this garbage. We're gonna talk about it's time for Helldivers. The Grums were misled. Helldivers allowed for its anti-political stance by all of us. Oh no. Now, community clarified why they banned people for asking for LGBTQ capes. It was for policies to protect devs from waves of hate speech, which their staff was struggling with emotionally. And now that they only ban the bigots. Honestly, I don't know what to think. What is Helldivers community policy? Oh no. This is Catherine Baskin. As you can tell, sort of what... if you look on her profile pic, it looks like your average sized woman. Plus, Helldivers is pretty woke, dog. Wow. Game was made by a lot of LGBTQ and brown people and black people and women. And it's I think like Swedish and black and women. It's a big satire of jingoism. It amuses me that they don't know that Super Earth is bad. Yeah, they don't know. That's great. It also explains a lot about the world at present. And then I'll play Helldivers great free. And this is sort of Grum's talking about, it's like I said, I've said this before. It doesn't matter. I mean, you expect the Helldivers, she's a community manager. And they're women. I probably graduated from college. So you can pretty much guess what their political leanings are. And community managers are pretty much useless for the most part. They just relay messages. They'll talk to people. I mean, getting your job, your job being completely talking, seems like a dream job for a lot of women. Let's see. Let me go to LinkedIn. Arrowhead women. I mean, I've always said like it's kind of Arrowhead is kind of woke to begin with. They're like any other dev. They're very leftist. Very leftist. Oh shoot! Now I can't find it. I did link it in my Twitter. Let me find this picture of my Twitter 1 second. I just ignore a community manager. And really, any sort of community is really going to generate organically. It's not going to be something that that can be forced by developers. I mean, they have the ability to really like push it through official channels, but really what develops is always going to be a sort of natural coming together of a community. And this is, Arrowhead. This year's Swedish Game Report is out now. We're so happy to see that 40% of the new entrants were women, but we know that the industry could do more regarding diversity in the workplace. Come on, 20, let's do even better. First seem to lead to better culture and more sustainable and dynamic companies, to which we wholeheartedly agree. Right now at Arrowhead, we got 10 open positions, and we regular update even more. If you feel like we're a match, we'd love to hear from you. Help us be better and spread even more diversity. Wow. No, that's Arrowhead. I mean, like any other dev in the industry right now, they're going to be left-leaning, and they're Swedish too. They're European, so it's even like worse than American. Maybe. I don't even know. Like how they're Swedish, and they tons of brown and gay people worked on this. Sweden known for its large populations of black and brown people. But really, I think you just got to ignore most of that and just enjoy the game. If the work is good, I judge people by their works. If the work's good, then enjoy it. Let's move on. We're talking about Helldivers again. So this came up in my feed a lot. This IGN review. Yes, you're a fascist in Helldivers, but it's so unintentionally over the top, it's impossible not to smile. I'm not going to go over this review because it's from February. I've actually already covered it in a previous thing, but excuse me, I need to take off my jacket. But this is something that constantly comes up, and I'm so sick of hearing it. It's a game. You're a fascist, guys. Media literacy, guys. All of it's here. Really, and the thing that I wanted to talk about, and I'm not 100%, this is sort of I'll put on some gameplay of me playing with a nuke. Very cool. The game's awesome, and this is like, where's the satire in this? Me blowing up a giant mechs. The setting itself does have satire, but I really wonder how effective it actually is, especially with like video games aren't movies. You actually become part of it. So you actually assume the character that's in it. Like, are you really the bad guy in this scenario? Is it possible to think of yourself as the bad guy? Like, even if you are like in roles, one of the fun of video games is actually being a sort of bad guy sometimes, being able to like sort of indulge in your darker urges, even though a lot of these like leftist people worrying about extremism in game seem to be very against this being something that takes place. To actually like be the character and think of yourself as bad or evil in a way just doesn't seem as possible because I mean, usually almost everybody likes themselves to some extent. I mean, maybe not leftists, I don't know, maybe they do hate themselves, but I've always felt like if you're actually like playing that character, you love yourself essentially. You want to win when you play these games, so it doesn't matter whether you're good or bad. Can it really be effective satire? You're not gonna like make fun of yourself as you blow up these things, and not to mention, I mean, look at this. We got machine guns going, we got stuff exploding. You're badass. The whole thing's like super cool, and you're killing these enemies that are legitimately evil looking. So it's like, oh, they believe Tanamans are evil because because of all that propaganda. Like, no, they look like giant metal skeletons that are trying to shoot you to death with lasers. I mean, what part of this is I'm setting a hell bomb here. Let me see if I can get to some of these fights. I mean, like, let me see if I can find another, like, all right, here's these guys with Look at these nice gentlemen, these peaceful people with giant chainsaws for hands coming at me with glowing skulls. Maybe I'm just not media literate enough to see these sort of peaceful alien civilizations. You know, they just have a different culture than ours. Really, I don't know. To me, satire. I'll have to think about this more, but I'm not sure if satire works as well in a video game itself, because it's even stuff like, there's an argument made like Star Troopers is an effective satire because the society that they present actually seems pretty great. It's full of like good-looking, healthy, athletic people, and you're kind of sort of fail to see like what's really so bad with it. And even in this, like, you're a badass. You're supposed to be the bad guy. I mean, you're doing all awesome crap, killing ugly looking aliens. Where's the satire in this? It's sometimes hard to see. I'll think about that more. I'm really sick of hearing about media literacy is essentially leftist. If leftism, like, if you're to be truly media literate, you have to see it from a leftist point of view. That's essentially what they mean when they say media literacy. This came in my feed. This is kind of random, but this came in my feed. It's like an old video, but it's so good. I had to share it with you guys. It's just so good.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I could see it, yeah. Dad, that's the beginning of The Last of Us.
That was just the beginning?
That's the thing. It sets us.
That's just the beginning. And then watch the guy on the right, the kid try to like deer it. Like,
Story.
no, it's
So
setting a story.
This whole game, there's so much stuff you do. You're this guy, and it cuts forward
You're this guy. Come
several
on.
years, and now you're living in this crazy post-apocalyptic kind of zombie infection type world.
The girl or the guy?
The guy, you play as the guy for the rest of the game, but that's kind of it's setting, it's character development. It's showing what
Character development, man.
You don't need that. Just
You don't need that.
start some stuff up and let me press a
Is that a start?
button and do things. I'm telling you, they need.
I love that. Just start it up and let me press a button and do things.
I'm telling you, they need to hire me.
Yes, they do need to hire you. My God. They need to hire this guy. He gets it. This old man gets it.
Start some stuff up and let me press a button and do things. I'm telling you, they need to hire me.
They
Nobody wants to watch this setup crap.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's a brilliant opening.
No. Nobody does want to watch this crap.
If
He's
I
right.
Watch a movie.
I want to watch a movie.
For both interactivity and story and none of that.
God bless.
Tune that lasts about 10 seconds, then let Ken Griffey do something. That's how they should all be.
Oh, it's so good. Just let me press a button and do stuff. They're forget storytelling. Good Lord. You could do that through playing the game. Savage, man. What a Chad. Absolutely destroying this nerd on the right here. There's story, but the storytelling, the world building, there's character development here. No, you don't need any of that. Just let me press a button. God bless him. They do need to hire him, please. People hire that old man. He knows what video gamers want. But got more random news. Putin wants to get in on a console war, guys. Gone from Cold War to console war here as a Kremlin. They want to make some video games. Wants Russia to create its own video game console. As you might know, there's a lot of restrictions, a lot of sanctions as the war in Ukraine seems to keep on going. A country that brought us Tetris, but so like McDonald's moved out. They made their own McDonald's. Starbucks moved out. They made their own Starbucks. So I don't know if. So I guess here we go. Putin, during a social and economic meeting this week, President Vladimir Putin ordered government to consider the matter. The government edict specifically calls Russia to look at producing both stationary and portable game consoles, along with an OS and cloud system for delivering to customers. Putin floated the order when all video game makers, including Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, have halted official sales to Russia following the country's invasion of Ukraine. Despite the ban, local Russian vendors are still finding a way to import foreign game consoles. But it looks like the Kremlin sees an opportunity to create its own domestic video game industry amid the harsh economic sanctions from the West. Russia deciding might be trying to get into video games. Who knows, as they continue, to fight off sanctions, and Lord knows when the war in Ukraine is actually going to end. Will be interesting to see what sort of console Russia comes out with. Their own sort of Russian Nintendo Switch. I have a feeling it's not going to be great, but who knows? It'd be very interesting to see how it plays out. Let's just say that. Russia. And this is from PC Gamer. Lauren, maker to Baldur's Gate 3, not happy about the layoffs. Publisher, director on mass layoffs. None of these companies are at risk of going bankrupt. They're just at risk of pissing off the shareholders. Should be humbled by this period. It doesn't feel like we're humbled by this period as an industry. Speaking of GameFile, the game developer at the Game Developer Choice Awards, Larian director of publishing Michael Dowse gave his take on the current state of the industry, including some sharp criticisms of the wave after wave of massive layoffs. They are avoidable fuck-ups, he said. That's what they are. That's why you can see one after the other, because game companies, well, finally, now we can too. We wanted to do it for ages. Everyone else is. So why don't we? It's really kind of sick. Though Dowse allowed that big publishers are complicated operations that can quickly react to new demands the market quickly to new demands the market changes. He argued that better planning and leadership could have prevented the worst of what we're seeing. I expect frustration without the industry continues its business as usual and glitzy events such as the DDC Awards or the BAFTAs. We should be humbled by this period. It doesn't feel like we're humbled by this period as an industry. And then he goes on to sort of acknowledge that, yeah, I mean, you do have to please shareholders, especially when you're a giant company that's publicly traded. Of course, he's touting their, small independent structure and how that's allowed them to have success and avoid a lot of these layoffs. But this is, just something that's happening in the industry after they've grown so large. If you just keep chasing shareholder profits, unfortunately, not always good for really anybody, the people making the games and the people developing the games. So I think he has a point to a certain extent, as they don't, and yeah, it is kind of interesting that the awards keep happening and like, oh, everything's going well, guys. They keep the hype train going. And this is kind of the sort of sick thing with a lot of these sort of industry-led events. Of course, last week you had Bucky sort of complaining about the GDC and the sort of grifting that's happening with, tons of crypto and Web3 stuff, and not a lot of talk about video games itself, or, some of those sort of praiseworthy video game projects that are happening in the industry right now. It doesn't seem to shine on them, let's say. So it's sort of a kind of a sick relationship going on. Let's move on. I just saw this on the IGN site. Palia, if I recall, laid off 35% of its workers only a few months after beta release. And this is kind of interesting because they keep talking about, we need a lot of these leftist organizations, working with the ADL that want to paint gamers as toxic. So Palia was a sort of life simulation, massive multiplayer online. It's developed by this, but I think the biggest thing was that it's sort of supposed to be this conflict-free, very cozy world where you where you can just explore, and it's not, really reliant on any sort of conflict, avoiding toxicity and all this junk. Let's see. Let me try and see if I can find. Does it have a mission statement or anything like that? I'm trying to see if. I could find it. Can't really. Let's see. We got the cinematic trailer here. Oh, I'll lose my place. Supposed to be this cozy MMO, you know? Seems like it's really sort of centered at women. We got the clearly black-coated purple elf. Oh. Bye. Oh no, come back. That doesn't look particularly interesting, to be honest. Who's the old guy? Or is that just a rando? I think he's just, I think it was just a YouTuber showing his dad Last of Us. Like, oh, I showed my dad Last of Us, and this is how he reacted. I don't know who he is, but he's a great guy. Really, really cool. Palia laying off 35%. I don't think it's doing too well on Steam either. Getting like a 6 out of 10. Steam. This sort of slice of life, chill game. Not doing well is a vibrant world, craft fish, life of your dreams. Let's see how the reviews on it. How are the reviews on it? It did seem interesting at some point, but I really... Oh yeah, Palia, a cozy community sim MMO made for you to explore a vibrant world and craft life, dreams, and befriend colorful characters around you. It looks kind of, again, very much, we just... kind of gay, to be honest. That's it. I'm trying to think of a better word for it, but maybe that maybe that's the word. Mixed reviews, not doing too well. A good game looks nice. Haven't run any bugs or glitches. Characters look good. The bad, let's see. Make home. Characters feel very surface level. Of high friendship with anyone, so it's possible they get more interesting as time goes on. Though I hate that you only get 9 farming plots. Oh my god. You can't earn any cosmetics. You have to buy cosmetics. Pretty much like I said in my good category, it's great for me, but for people that want multiplayer, little to do. So it's an MMO without a lot of MMO stuff. It gets very boring and grindy. That's the most helpful reviews. Not recommended. 37 hours too. Yikes. So he's played quite a bit. There's no blood and gore. That's a positive for this game. But it's not doing well. Apparently, as it has to lay off. There is some blood and gore in Palia. It's just happening in the company right here. Emerged when it began posting on X. Includes at least one environmental engineer and others. I don't know how much 35% of their workforce is, but it seems like a large amount. But they released a statement following Palia's release on Steam. We validated support and need to deliver the highest quality gameplay services for long stability. We made the difficult decision to reduce our workforce was impacted around 35% of our talent and hardworking team members. We value their contributions and committed to supporting them through this process, including severance, work placement, and career guidance assistance, retainment of all company-provided development equipment. So it was not made lightly. It comes after careful consideration and business needs. Essentially, we're not making enough money to support all these people. So we got to cut off, do massive cuts. Massive multiplayer community sim. So it seems like, despite all the talk about how we need to create kinder, gentler games, not a lot of desire for some of this stuff. So it seems maybe they do need more violence and toxicity to keep things interesting. We'll see. Palia getting raked over the coals. And this was a fun story. Oh, this is kind of fun. How hidden Nazi symbols were the tip of a toxic iceberg at Life is Strange developer Deck 9 remember Life is Strange, I've always thought of it as, this sort of like queer game, very much, all these characters are queer and stuff. I've never played it because the second I see that, you could just tell just by looking at it, it's not a game for a straight guy to play. So earlier, this was pretty funny. Earlier this year, while working on the next entry of Life is Strange, a developer at Deck 9 stumbled upon something that didn't belong in the game. Nazi symbols. Notice a reference to the number 88 and flagged the issues. Number 80, I would know 88 is a secret symbol. Assuming it was an innocent mistake, showing weeks to found more problematic signs. I don't even know half this stuff. To a racist meme. The number 18. Well, I guess know your meme. So this is what? Oh, I see. So referencing to that. So I guess I could kind of see that being racist. And the Hegel. I don't even know what the Hegel rule is. Number of possible hate amount is increasing that someone's putting these items in their game deliberately as a dog whistle to white supremacists. Oh my God. I know white supremacists are lining up to K. Life is Strange, by the way. Be inappropriate in most games. Life is the title. Dissonance was especially frightening since its inception. The series has been lauded for the thoughtful portrayals of marginalized individuals. This recent entry, the Life is Strange True Colors, won Game for Impact at the Game Awards and the GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding Video Game. With such a yes, with some developers tell me was an exception to any whiff of hate speech that would immediately be removed and thoroughly investigated. Oh no! But the big but as the weeks went by, management remained silent and staff unrest grew. This was the first time the studio failed to act marginalized at the studio felt unsafe. Guys, I saw the number 88 and that felt unsafe. According to over a dozen current several apartments, most of whom spoke to me on the condition of anonymity. Rachel is Valentine's known for this sort of stuff. To, sort of work with these sort of super woke individuals to paint companies as evil, as racist and evil. They work together to sort of kind of shoehorn companies more towards the left. They claim the sweepies that are protecting multiple abuse leaders, encouraging crunch, allowing bullying, advocating internally for more authentic representation. A good old authentic representation in Life is Strange. And this, no one's forcing diversity in this. We're just going to work with the media to threaten and sort of put hit pieces out on your studio if you don't do what we say. Now, in the cups of announcing its next game and the struggling to secure other projects, Tech9 leadership is facing growing internal discontent from those harmed by its actions. While the developer of Life is Strange love and believe the series many of the crazy struggles to reconcile values of the game, promote the culture in which they are main. So yes, this is again a sort of a hit piece. They need more authentic representation. But gosh, maybe you need a consultancy company like Sweet Baby to come in. I love this quote. Where is it? Here it goes. Others I spoke to expressed frustration at Square Enix for different reasons. It was far too hands-on with the script. Sure, Life is Strange is a Square Enix-owned IP. Sure, they own it. But sources told me it seems oddly reluctant or outright hostile to the diverse themes and ideas that Life is Strange fans love. For instance, multiple people recalled an incident during True Colors development where Square Enix told multiple developers it didn't want Life is Strange to be thought of as the gay game. Well, they failed at that. It is 100% the gay game. Square Enix trying to sort of cool it. And then, let's see, there's a lot of press out there. True Colors providing its first bisexual lead. Oh, first bisexual lead in the game. God bless. Narrative director worked at Deck 9 and multiple Life is Strange titles. Even our press guides from Square Enix all the way up. Review copies were out. We were not to say anything about Alex's sexuality, period, at all. And then they did advance. So I guess Square Enix is trying to hey, let's not push this out. Like maybe we can get people that wouldn't normally play a game about bisexual characters to play it. Let's not make this a thing. But apparently not. And then Life is Strange, really known again for having sort of gay characters in it. At least from my view as an outsider. Them failing to apparently they also have hidden Nazi symbols in it. Who knows? Someone's having fun over there at Life is Strange. Though it is pretty interesting to see. Again, Rebecca Valentine, I think, did multiple things. Let's see. Let me look up her name. I'm pretty sure she did stuff on Riot and I think another company too. It might have been Ubisoft. Oh yeah, here's one. Rebecca Val, Bungie dev says atmosphere is soul crushing. So again, she sort of like reaches out, like, "Oh, are your devs being mean to me? Mean to you?" And let's see, I think she also does some other stuff. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I thought she did the stuff with the Riot, but maybe not. But this is all part of the strategy. Hey, well, if you want to keep on pushing diversity in games, the media from IGN is going to back you up and try to paint your management as evil or not doing enough to stop bad actors, and then hopefully get them fired or removed so people can move in that take pushing diversity seriously. Now, when we gonna move on, this is also from IGN. An interesting but maybe a little bit flawed title here. Flawed article. Gamers mostly played older games like GTA 5 and Fortnite in 2023. Spider-Man, Starfield, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom all launched in 2023, but these blockbusters didn't stop Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch players from spending most of their time with older games like GTA 5 and Fortnite. And this is reported as Kotaku. The video game market analysis Newzoo, I don't trust. They do a lot of work with the ADL to produce their garbage toxicity in games numbers, which never seem accurate. But this said, it seems kind of common sense. I mean, you look at this is game ranked by what is this? Monthly average users over 7 years old, on average, have generally fall into 4 categories. So this is top 10 games by average, but the average monthly average users in 2023. Fortnite, and then you go look on PC. Fortnite's number 1, Roblox, Minecraft, Counter-Strike, Sims 4. You can see all these games are older, and yeah, they're live service. Average years on the market is 9.6. A lot of these are competitive games that get large followings and are kind of designed to keep players in it and the PC. So PlayStation, Fortnite, GTA 5, Call of Duty, Warzone, Roblox, Minecraft, Apex Legends, Fall Guys. And then the average years on the market is 7.4. And then Xbox, you have Starfield kind of shows up here at number 8. But it's Minecraft, Roblox, Grand Theft, Fortnite being number 1 in all these. Damn. I don't know how they get their numbers though too. I don't know if it's physical sales or what. And then of course, interesting enough, Nintendo Switch has the youngest average years on market with 3.9. As Super Mario Wonder, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, all newer games. It still has Minecraft, Pokemon Scarlet's not that old, New Horizons, Hogwarts Legacy, Smash Ultimate's been around for a while. Switch, not having the sort of same level of, live service multiplayer games that seem to really hold people's interests. When you look at Xbox, you have Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto 4. They have the Fortnite, which, Switch does have as well, but it doesn't have a lot of these multiplayer franchises like Rainbow Siege, Rocket League, all that stuff. Really, this whole like monthly average user seems very flawed way to measure this stuff, because a lot of these games are designed to retain player bases. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom or even Starfield or those sort of games aren't meant to keep you playing for long periods of time. Or like, Power World, people were saying they lost a lot of average users. Well, it's not really made to retain players forever. Minecraft, honestly, I don't even know if Minecraft is really, you could really consider it. It just manages to do that because it's just design allows for so much creativity. And of course, you have your own servers, so you can sort of play indefinitely. Just 8% of total playtime for completely new releases. These games released in 2022 and 2023. And yeah, that's how a lot of these games are designed to do it. And until something comes around to replace, something like Fortnite or Warzone, it's hard to say. And I think they do include even like new updates in this to it. So like call it Counter-Strike 2 and CSGO are included in one thing, since they sort of share the same audience. It's not, so like I said, kind of flawed in terms of how it's presented. But yeah, people like playing a certain type of game for a long period of time. And once people get attached to some of these games, they play it for hours and hours regularly. And this kind of does show you the sort of pull by a lot of companies that want live service games. Because if you can become the next Fortnite or the next Roblox or the next CSGO, you're guaranteed years upon years of steady income. And who the hell wouldn't want that? What's a screenshot? Oh yeah, there's a screenshot. But moving on here, and it came with a better segue than moving on. This was from Kotaku. Hellblade 2 dev says people want shorter games, and they're right, which sounds pretty good. Says industry is open to games of all shapes and sizes. So Senua Saga's Hellblade 2 is set to follow its predecessor's footstep as a digital-only, shorter experience. Ninja Theory's follow-up to the 2012 psychological horror action game will run about 8 hours and cost $50, compared to the $70 most AA games cost. AAA games cost. Well, damn. When I read that, I'm like, $50 for 8 hours? Like, whew. That is a lot. Like, like $30 or $40 maybe, when it's only 8 hours for 50. Like, that's even a little high for me. For long experiences, if you prefer longer experience, it's nothing to do with longer experiences. This might be too much money for too little game. For some, it's a black and white as whether or not the game clears the dollar per hour metric. The idea that if you get as many hours of the game as dollars you pay for it. However, Ninja Theory says it believes that fans have become more open to shorter games. And people are criticizing this article, and I think this is kind of the point that they're making. Like, yeah, there is an argument to be made for dollars per hour, but even with shorter games, like say like a shmup or something, you can complete the game in like an hour total, or maybe it might take more time to beat it or clear it in like harder difficulties, but there's still a lot of replay value. One of the fun is you can come back and play it again and again. It's not just if you make a $50 game that's 8 hours long and you only need to play once, or is like really only sort of designed to be played once, then you're not getting a good value from it. So like shorter games are one thing. Like, it has to be really good. Like, to pay $50 for an 8 hour game, it better be damn good if that's all you're going to do is play through it once. One of the fun things of shorter games is that you can play them again pretty easy. I mean, I was just playing the Secret of Mana remake, and I was actually kind of surprised about how quick you can beat the game. Like it only took me a little under 20 hours to go through it and beat it. But at the same time, I did get it at half off. It's normally $40, and I think at $40, Secret of Mana remake is too much. But at $20, it's actually I think a pretty good deal. It's well-made game, good OST, the gameplay. Nostalgia aside, I think it still holds up pretty well. But $40, I would say it's too much, especially when you can emulate it on the Super Nintendo. You get the sprites instead of the 3D graphics. As a remake, it's not a super well done remake. It's not really adding to it. It's just sort of like here's it presented like a higher fidelity with 3D models. And they did add some voice acting, which kind of adds a little bit to it. But anyway, this isn't a Secret of Mana review. This is talking about Hellblade. So yeah, gamers are open up to shorter games. And I think one of the great things about like being digital only is that it allows for stuff. And like they even say it here, the original Hellblade success is a testament to this. Clocks in at around 7-8 hours. Matt Hughes told IGN Studio has established an audience for shorter games. He also thinks digital storefronts and alternative pricing to the typical more expensive box copies open the industry up to games of all shapes and sizes, which is definitely true. It definitely opens things up to new games. But you still have to present enough game or a good enough game to make it worth it. And then they talk about how they love games. This one's 90 minutes. Some game I've never heard of. But yeah, there are a lot of cool shorter games. Some indie titles and then some are, designed to be longer like Valheim or, DayZ. Games that can be played for a long time and have, I guess I wouldn't call it filler, but, they're definitely long, designed to be long. Where you get a lot of travel on that sort of thing. It's not 100% action. When you have like an open world style game, you are going to have a lot of travel. Meanwhile, you also have cheaper games, shorter games, like SMUPs, which are like 100% action. You can beat it in an hour or two, but the idea is like you'll want to play it again and again to sort of challenge yourself on higher difficulties or try to beat it without using credits to do so. Let's see what we're talking about here. Damn whiteys. Palworld released a raid boss with some fun. This is Santiago. How's it going? Released a raid boss with some fun extras this summer. An update with a new island should be released. The same for Valheim. Public test for Ash Islands. Oh, that's cool. Hey, JBB. Howdy. How's it going? That shit sounds like the last Gears of War. It sucked. Had too many clips and 6-hour download before I could play it. Oh, boy. Witcher 3 over 400 hours because of the replayability. Santiago really loves Witcher 3. I enjoy Counter-Strike mostly because I can talk shit while playing. Oh, that's toxic, man. Look out. They're going to report you to the toxicity ratings. You all right? Is Counter-Strike on this? I don't think it is. Is it? Call of Duty? No, they only have Call of Duty and Fortnite. 76 Valorant with a 77 rating. Hopefully you weren't experiencing crude humor or controlled substances. I like how they say gender discrimination. Then they'll include stuff like, what was a funny thing about gender discrimination that I read? I was reading the ADL. Some Minecraft servers allowed ADL or some people they hired to look over change logs. And they say their biggest infraction that they saw was the phrase bitch and the phrase cuck. Because it's that's gendered language. Essentially that the people are using that to shame people that aren't right-wing enough. Guys shaming other guys for not being manly enough, essentially. And of course, manliness is perceived as right-wing by them, which they might be right. considering just how much they decide to vilify men currently. Well, let's move on to let's finish off with some good stuff, some fun stuff. Let's do this first. This was actually an interesting, this is really not good or fun, but kind of interesting. This was a study that they did. People were bringing this up as proof that there's always this debate in video games where people are talking about frame rate, which frame rate is the best. Well, they did a study showing that a lot of people see different frame rates, and they're coming up with a testing modality to look at it, and you can kind of see some of these graphs. What I thought interesting, and I think kind of shows that some of this survey data might be wrong, because it's totally based on whether or not people report it, is that women scored higher in seeing better in seeing frame rate than men, which makes like zero sense to me, because men have, by all accounts, done better than women at video games. And the idea that they can see and respond faster, or can see, frame rate better, doesn't make sense. But of course, you see some of these plot points. The pink are obviously female, where like some people are just way, way out there. And I have to wonder whether or not some of these people are lying about it. Some of these modalities. So this kind of made me like throw into question just how good this can be. But you see different plots. Obviously, the higher or further it gets, this is when these people could start detecting a difference in the lights. Essentially, when they sort of like, at least in one of the tests, they had like a flashing light, and they had to record when, at which point the light became solid to them, when they couldn't detect the flashing anymore. And that's when they plotted it out. So some people could even see like at 80 hertz or something like that. Again, an interesting study, but I have to wonder just how accurate it was. Because in my assumption would be that if you tested, most of the contestants, majority of it were female, that if you were to do a massive study on this, that I think men would come out on top. I could be wrong, but I just have a feeling with how good they do at just sort of hand-eye coordination and reaction time, it seems to be much better than women on average. So I would expect them to come in higher on this test if it was done. Now some cool stuff, though. This is from Nexus Mods. This is actually pretty amazing what some modders can do. But this Armored Core 6, loved the game, played it, got every achievement on it. But this guy released a mod that actually adds co-op into it. The game didn't have any sort of co-op when you did the story mode, but this guy has added co-op to it. And not only that, but kind of like Dark Souls, which is another FromSoft game, they added online PvP. People can invade your mission, and you can play with up to 5 friends on work, other than the Iceman, which has disabled co-op while it's being fixed. But people can actually invade your mission and then try to stop you from playing. So you can play with up to 5 people. And then, I guess with 5 people, there's no invader slots. But if you have 3 co-op players, they'll add you can possibly 2 invaders. So you can go into other people's games and try to stop them, which seems really cool. No, it doesn't launch easy anti-cheat and doesn't connect to FromSoftware's matchmaking servers. Oh, this is really cool. So you can have PvP, or you can disable it, or you can play co-op with up to 5 players. Though I don't know if it actually changes values, because it seems like with 5 people it'd be way too easy. But it does seem like it would be a lot of fun to have just fly-in mission with 5 different people, just blow stuff up. Really blast. Seems like a blast. I haven't tried it yet, but so I don't think I know too many people that played Armored Core 6 or own the copy of it. But it's just amazing what some people can actually do with these games and add to it. And the idea hey, you're playing with 3 friends and all of a sudden 2 other mechs sort of show up, which happens a lot in the game And like the story, you know, other mechs show up to try and stop you from completing your mission. So it just fits in so perfectly with it. It kind of makes you wonder like why they weren't able to do this with your base game, but it probably just didn't work that way. You know, there's too many things to factor in, and then sort of having it just done unofficially just is a much easier thing to do. The mod people have just much more freedom. It doesn't necessarily have to work all the time. When you're an actual company making an official game, there is a lot more expectations. So having stuff like this that wouldn't work or be kind of buggy just wouldn't be all right for the official game. And then finally, let's wrap it up. I'm even going a little over time. This was an interview about, we talked about Vision of Mana last time, but I was like super sick. So I wanted to talk about it a little again. This is sort of an interview. How Vision of Mana's producer made sure the game stays true to the series' identity. And then this is known as Seiken Densetsu in Japan. Of course, Secret of Mana was a RPG created SNES. So Secret of Mana was one of my favorite RPGs on the Super Nintendo. And then we're talking to the guy. Let's go down to it. And then Vision of Mana is a series first new title. Wow, in over 15 years since Heroes of Mana released on Nintendo DS. How do you feel about the new game's unexpected announcement? I get the feeling there is some surprise, and this is my first new title. They had remakes like the Secret of Mana remake and Trials of Mana remake, but this is like a original new game coming out, so not including remakes. I get the feeling there are surprises because they never thought a new entry in the Mana series would be announced. I also get the impression that people are excited about the visuals that we released so far. On the other hand, we haven't been able to release all the information yet, so I expect people are waiting to hear more. We're excited because we know what it's about and want to reveal more as soon as possible. So who's developing Vision of Mana? Square Enix is developing it with NetEase Games Oka Studios. First, I'd like to, let's see, Vision of Mana creation. Let's see, roll for Excel Vision of Mana. Let's see if I can find when they said, up until now, you're mainly involved in the Mana series. Do you have any difficulty with making it? While making elements of Mana series we didn't want to stray from, it was difficult to determine where we could step in and shake things up. So Vision of Mana is being touted as a return to the series' origins. Your opinion, what are the origins of the Mana series? And what makes something Mana-like? Which is an interesting idea. Oh, this is a beautiful artwork. I always loved Secret of Mana's artwork, especially the Mana tree. We got the red birds flying around it. Sort of like trees on top of a giant tree. Really beautiful stuff. I'm an actual fan who was charmed by the Mana series. I began playing when I played the first game when I was in elementary school. I didn't even play the subsequent games. Now that I'm in a position where I'm involved in the series development, I think the easiest way to understand the Mana series style is by looking at parts that Ishii was involved in. When I was trying to break down the key elements of Mana series, I came to the conclusion that it would be best to include monsters like Rabite that have been in Mana games up until now, and to have Ishii supervise their design. I thought it would be a highly convincing way to convey the essence of the Mana series. I also asked Hachin, who did the character designs for the remake games, to do the Vision of Mana as well. This guy actually does some amazing artwork. I don't know if let me bother you with some great art. They're just some amazing stuff. Let me see if I can get the Secret of Mana stuff. Secret. Oh, Mana. Let's see. There's really. I'll just bring this over. I think it's safe. I mean, like, you got like stuff like this. Opening Facebook, but just beautiful artwork that's flamey with King Truffle. You got Luca. Not image search. Let me just expand it, damn it. Just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful artwork. I love the style of it, too. It's just so colorful and vibrant. Perfectly fits Secret of Mana. Just a really, really amazing artist. I love the style of it. Kind of reminds me a little bit of DBZ, but like Toriyama stuff, but not quite. And like, I think he did this too. Beautiful artwork. Love the coloring and everything in it. Just a lovely coloring. So they got some really talented people working on it. And hey, how's it going, Silver Bishop? Who did the character design for the remake, doing the design for Vision of Mana. He skillfully integrated the visual styles of the Mana series, therefore is confident that characters would be fine. Which, yeah, got some great people working on it. Key components, beautiful artwork. In Japan, there have been 4 numbered titles in the Mana series up until now. Vision of Mana being the first completely new title in such a long time. Does it start with V because of the 5? Everyone seemed to think so. However, overseas release didn't use a numbering system. We simply came up with a blank of Mana style when he launched globally. Let's see. I think he starts talking about Western. Westernized. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, yeah. Okay. So here's where he starts talking about it. Do you have any plans how you like the Mana series to reach out to Western gamers in the future? I get the feeling that many people who picked up Secret of Mana in 1993, at the time it came out, were young like I was, and because it regularly received feedback from people who played the latest entries through the lens of their childhood experience with the series. I hope that as they grow older and become parents, they will recommend the Mana series to their children and tell them about how fun it was. The unique atmosphere and design make some people feel like it's a bit childish. However, these are the strength of the Mana series. Rather than changing these features that make the Mana series, I hope that new players will come to like these games that have been popular in Japan for a long time for what they are, which is true. I think one of the strengths of it is the sort of designs like this, the vibrant colors, the really beautiful worlds that it has. That really is what makes Secret of Mana Secret of Mana. Do you have any... so while keeping globalization in mind, you're taking care not to let your series identity become westernized, which I'm not even sure what they mean by westernized. I think the visuals of the Mana game are distinctly characteristic. Therefore, it's best to deliver the game based on the developer's creative vision. For example, there are many different types of characters in the Mana series. I think the fun of the game is encountering the mysterious world and its inhabitants. And because of that, we do not have a strong focus on a particular audience. However, we do work with the game with bearing in mind the Mana series is loved by fans all over the world. I hope it continues. I already asked this, but when the release of Secret of Mana is just around the corner, but would you like to continue working on the series? Let's keep striving to remake the Mana. So this is kind of an interesting question. I'm not even sure what this guy means by westernized, but clearly he realizes that the Secret of Mana's strength is staying in the identity of Secret of Mana, the sort of things. Yeah, I guess that is what they mean, X Runner. Changing them into a woman and making it lame, like having a bunch of diverse characters, as they'd like to say. But yeah, it looks like they're fully committed to keeping the game looking. I don't know if they get a picture of it. But I mean, they have the character designs themselves look really beautiful. I got a beautiful woman, now cute little fairies. But the style and the art look very much in tune with the old Secret of Mana games. And hey, how's it going, Silver Bishop? Nuke, good to see you. Fine, not stepping on your D is a superpower. Certainly is. But guys, that's it for the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for everyone that liked the video. I really appreciate it. And I'll be putting out clips of it. I had to skip last week, but feeling better now. And confident that this one sounds all right. I'm not coughing and blowing my nose every other minute. So it should be fun. But I'll be over there on, let me see if I can link. I'll be over on Rule Zero. They're doing like some sort of chill stream, which sounds pretty fun. I'm all about the chill. So see me on here. If you got time, it should be at the top of the hour. Well, we don't always start at the top of the hour, but a little bit after the top of the hour, we'll be on to talk about who knows. I guess whatever we feel like, which is actually seems to be one of the sort of themes of a recurring theme on Post Zero is we kind of sometimes let the conversation go where it might. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later.